UFC 311. This is the weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. We have a new look main event as Renato Moicano steps in on short notice, replacing Arman Tsarukyan and fighting for the lightweight belt against Islam Makhachev. Insane scenario that took place earlier today. I found out while I was live, and that stream, we went crazy because we got the news of not only the main event being canceled, but Moicano then stepping in and replacing Tsarukyan on just a day's notice, which takes a lot of gusto. But as he says himself, he can't afford to lose. I mean, financially, with this main event, maybe he can. We'll find out as we break it down. Talking about that fight for the first time, I'm excited. Make sure you guys smash the likes. If you're new, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure you share the video too. Also note, I'll be live for the whole card. Per usual, Fight Companion going down Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern time for UFC 311. I'm stoked, guys. I am amped up. And breaking this card down after the weigh-ins is something I've been looking forward to doing all week long. So without further ado, let's kick it off. First fight of the night, we have Tagir Ulanbekov versus Clayton Carpenter. All week, the pick has been Tagir Ulanbekov, and it's going to be really hard to push me off of that side. Clayton Carpenter's a talented up-and-comer. He's got decent boxing. He's even got some decent wrestling. He's a good athlete. He's strong. He's in shape. He's cut up nicely. He's in great physical condition. But he's taking on a Team Khabib fighter? Like, come on. What are we doing? Team Khabib is going to lose to an unproven 8-0 guy? Ulanbekov, even though he hasn't been like super active, he is coming off a nice win over Cody Durden, which I think is still relatively impressive. Durden's got a decent game. Before that quick sub of Nate Menes, and he made it look super easy. Menes went distance with Umar Nurmagomedov, who's fighting for the strap in the damn co-main event. Then he has that controversial loss to Elliott years ago. Ulanbekov has just fought way better fighters. I mean, even you look at Ailín Nascimento, Bruno Silva, those are good wins. Carpenter's beaten Lucas Hosha, won Camilo Ronderos, and he has a Contender Series win over Edgar Chairez before Chairez even got into the UFC. He's a talented prospect that I've liked for a long time, but you can't pick him against Ulanbekov. I'm saying Tagir Ulanbekov to win, and I also think he is very live to win via submission. He's got good submission threats. The only aspect of Ulanbekov's game that I don't love is sometimes he's very square throwing shots and isn't super quick to bring his hands back to block. So I feel as though in boxing, sure, he's at a disadvantage against Carpenter. With the wrestling threat mixed in and the slickness on the ground, I think this should be Ulanbekov's fight. He's got way too much experience. He trains with too good of guys, and I think he's on his way to probably getting a finish. I see Carpenter getting locked in a submission, probably on the counterattack for Ulanbekov, maybe like Carpenter shooting a takedown, getting locked into a front headlock position. As Ulanbekov's got a nice gilly. He got that wiry build, and it really works well for strangles. Expect to see one here. Now, we got to look at the scales, and we got to check these savages out. MMA Junkie this week decided to do weird angled picks and not put them in order, so we're going on a different site to get our picks. We got the HD look. So we have Clayton Carpenter looking shredded. I had no doubts about how great of a shape he would come in this fight looking. I mean, he looks ready to go. He does. He looks like Frankie Muniz to me. From Malcolm in the Middle, are you telling me that's not him? Frankie Muniz with a little extra testosterone in his system. He decided to be a cage fighter in 2025. Wow, what a look. And then we got Tagir Ulanbekov from Dagestan. He looks scary. To be honest, Ulanbekov, he's got that San Francisco crackhead look going at the weigh-ins. It's not a good look. He definitely physically looks a lot worse than Clayton Carpenter. But when they get inside of the octagon, at the end of the day, no matter how freaky Ulanbekov looks, I just think he's way too experienced and skilled. There's the face-off. See Ulanbekov a good amount taller, naturally bigger guy. Carpenter looks like a kid facing off with a man. How can I pick baby face Muniz, Frankie from Malcolm in the Middle, as I might be botching his last name. Sorry, he's not getting a scintillating shout out on the show, against someone that looks similar to Khabib, bro? What are we talking about? Stop it. Frankie Muniz got no chance, bro. Malcolm in the Middle, Nah, he's going to be taken down, submitted in the middle of the octagon. He ain't getting a W over Ulanbekov. Cannot see it. That's a fever dream at best. Looking at the betting lines, Ulanbekov is minus 300, which that could end up looking like a steal if this fight's as dominant as it could be. Carpenter at plus 250. He's fought nobody. And now he's going to be the one to break Ulanbekov's, the only losses Ulanbekov has are controversial decisions. You guys got to remember that too. He's only lost controversial decisions. Never really lost like a clean beating. He's been a winner on the most part, and then losing bad decisions like with Tim Elliott grabbing his gloves in the cage. Decision at minus 110, not juicy. Ulanbekov sub at plus 400. Ulanbekov sub could be an interesting side of history to stray on. I have to say, Tagir Ulanbekov is a confident pick. He must be. He shall win, and I am picking him, of course. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we have Ricky Turcios versus Benardo Sopaj. I've been picking Benardo Sopaj all week. I think he's got a massive explosiveness advantage over Turcios. He's way cleaner with his hands. He's way smoother on the feet. I just think he's simply better and more explosive and athletic than Turcios. Now, to be fair, Turcios is a crafty veteran. He's not good with power. He lacks it completely, and he doesn't really have well-refined technique. He's a little clunky with the way that he throws his shots. But at the end of the day, Ricky Turcios' volume striking is live, right? It's an aspect. I guess live, you're thinking, oh, he's going to knock him out. No. It's a live aspect. But Sopaj puts people to sleep. Sopaj does damage. Sopaj is physically strong. He can grapple well. He can strike well. He seems to be cut from that like Ilia Topuria type cloth with that level of explosiveness. And Ricky Turcios is just simply not that level. Last time, lost to Rosas. I mean, what's his claim to fame? Ultimate Fighter win and having Rosas is back? Kevin Natividad's split decision? That's kind of aged horribly. And then Ayman Zahabi, that loss right there is a decent piece 2.5 years ago. Now looking at it, seeing Zahabi ranked, but he looked terrible in that fight. And even the Brady Hiestand fight was a bit of a controversial decision. I think that Benardo Sopaj's got this fight in the bag. If he doesn't win, I'd say I'm relatively shocked at that outcome. That outcome will scramble my brain, okay? Sopaj should touch him up with big punches, should probably even offer a takedown threat, and I think Benardo Sopaj is going to get this one done. He's a confident pick for sure. Now we got to go on the hunt to find this savage. He's not far away. Look at this guy. He looks like a fucking animal. He's got animalistic energy. Sopaj seems mean. He seems vicious. He's got the badass ink. Very Ilia Topuria-esque vibes, to be fair. And he comes from a good gym. Mini Topuria pulling through with a violent KO, that would be a best case scenario. Now, he's coming off of a horrible loss, I understand, but Vinicius Oliveira is solid. Vinicius Oliveira is difficult to deal with. I just want to make sure we give Turcios the shine, man. I didn't see him here. He had his eyes closed, man. I didn't even realize. He's falling asleep. That's the guy? Scooby-Doo? Shaggy? Bro, is that Shaggy? Shaggy is going to beat Benardo Sopaj. Smoking his joints, having the munchies on the weekends and shit. That's going to beat Sopaj? I don't think so, man. I do not think Shaggy from Scooby-Doo is taking out a guy who has a cloth cut from an Ilia Topuria type. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, and it won't happen. As far as the face-offs, there it is. Intensity is high. Sopaj looking pretty jacked. Look at the muscle tone on him. Look at the muscle tone on him. Look at the physique on him. Look at him staring into the soul of Turcios. Turcios going to try his best, but his best is simply not enough. Ricky Turcios is not going to beat Benardo Sopaj. I just cannot see it happening. Sorry. For anybody on the Turcios underdog side, be honest with yourself. He lacks power. He lacks athleticism. What is he going to do? Throw up a triangle from bottom position? He's going to sneak to the back of Sopaj and just strangle him? I don't think that's very likely. Turcios is a big underdog, though. Sitting at, plus 230 dog tag. Very wide dog line. Sopaj at minus 270. Sopaj's known for KOs. I know, last time he got chinned badly, but he's a knockout fighter. He's got big punching power. He's got devastating hooks, and he's pretty precise, too. Plus 350 for Sopaj by KO. I do think it's relatively live, but obviously higher tiers of confidence sit on the side of the money line. I mean, Sopaj, could he end up going out and winning a crafty decision where they go somewhat back and forth? Definitely. Turcios doesn't have an awful chin, but he was dusted by Leo Mana Martinez, who was a complete UFC washout. It was on the regional scene, but Leo Mana Martinez had minimal success in the octagon, and Turcios got flattened by him. Still, Turcios won the Ultimate Fighter. He's got experience, but I think Sopaj wins the fight. Let's keep running up the card. Next fight, we have Rinya Nakamura versus Muin Gafurov. So the pick for me has been Rinya Nakamura. I do think that he is a bit overhyped. I'm not super impressed. Look at his recent wins. Carlos Vera fight. Vera's got the most awkward jiu-jitsu style ever, and it was kind of a sleepy grappling control fight. He beat Fernie Garcia, which hasn't aged very well. Fernie lost up in weight. He got knocked out. I can see the name, but for some reason I can't. I can see the face, but for some reason I can't think of the name. Now I got to double check this, man. I'm sorry that it's off subject, but this will piss me off. Hyder Mill. There it is. Hyder Mill. There we go. I was going to say A Mill higher. I think Rinya Nakamura beats Muin Gafurov. Probably decision, takedowns, control, better wrestling, more explosive, just simply faster and just seemingly a bit better. Gafurov at best, I would say he's an average striker with an average grappling game. He doesn't do anything exceptional. I mean, he does seem like he's got a bit of heart. He showed that against Kang because he had to dig deep in that fight. He was getting mounted by Kang, who's more so known for his kickboxing. Not a good look as you're facing a former Japanese wrestler who right now is, one of the handful of Japanese hopes to make a run in the UFC. Before that, it was a quick sub loss to Said Nurmagomedov, but that was a horrible fight for him. I don't even know why they took that fight. And then John Castaneda beat him on a decision. Gafurov is not horrible, and Rinya Nakamura is completely unproven, only with wins over cans. So as far as seeing huge betting odds, it's not appealing to me with Rinya Nakamura as this big of a favorite. Even though there seems to be a relatively clear path to victory, he's also dealing with a guy who's got more pro fights, 25 pro fights to 9 pro fights. Experience is a difference maker, regardless of the age being, similar. Actually, Gafurov a bit younger. But at minus 600, that makes no sense. There is zero reasoning behind a minus 600 line. It legitimately doesn't make sense to me. I get it. Nakamura won the road to the UFC, but how awful have a lot of these road to the UFC guys been? And there's Rinya Nakamura. To be fair, he doesn't have this crazy aura. I mean, besides having blonde hair, cover the blonde hair for a second. He just looks like Japanese fighter B. So I do not have extremely high hopes. I do not see him as a future top 15 contender. I don't see him mixing it up with the top guys in the weight class. I think he could potentially be a parlay buster. I actually have a bit of worry. Now, Muin Gafurov, we're on the hunt for Gafurov. This is what happens where MMA Junkie decides to not put our things in order. And now I got to go in scrambled order here and hunt for it. I thought that was Gafurov, but it's not him. And now we got to slide to MMA Junkie. Yo, shout out MMA Junkie. We are using your page. You got the picks because for some reason Gafurov don't got a photo. What is the disrespect on Gafurov? The hunt for Gafurov commences. And let's see if we find it. Of course, he's the last picture all the way at the bottom. But he actually looked relatively good on the scale. I'm happy that we got this pick. For Gafurov, he's pretty cut up. Now, he looks about as goofy as you can get with the fucking unibrow and the chin beard. If you've seen the movie The Dictator with Sacha Baron Cohen, do you remember the doppelganger to the dictator that they brought in? Supreme Leader! That's the guy he looks like. Exactly like him. Holy shit. You know what? I really think, get this guy his eyebrows waxed, dog. He needs to do it. At least shave the center, bro. You're in the USA now. You're trying to fight in the UFC and build a name. That brow don't sell, man. I know Anthony Davis from the NBA built it as a meme, but it ain't working for you, Gafurov. You ain't 7 feet tall, my brother. There's the face-off. I mean, decent intensity. This looks a lot more like a 50-50 fight. But to be fair, better physical condition for Nakamura. And the official prediction is Nakamura to outwork Gafurov on his way to a decision win. And special shout-out MMA Junkie for actually having the picture that we needed. Minus 650 for Nakamura with Muin Gafurov at plus 475. That doesn't make sense. He was as low as plus 285 in December. Now, minus 650? Nakamura is not a minus 650 favorite. I think he wins the decision. Over is minus 186 for the over 2.5. Nakamura, decision is minus 120. Yeah, he's going to win a decision probably. Actually, hold on one second. Where is it? Where is it? I want to see the spread if it's available. Can Gafurov steal around and can we make this competitive? Plus money for it. Interesting. I don't know why they have 5.5, not 3.5, but regardless. Interesting. Can Gafurov take a round? That's really what you got to ask yourself. The odds are way too wide, and Gafurov's still a vet. Not horrible. Just a mention. Not telling you go out and do it. Unfortunately, yeah, you can't do much with Nakamura. I wouldn't say Gafurov is necessarily a reliable underdog. We just simply have horrible odds here in a fight that, to me, is teetering a lot more towards 50-50 than being presented with those odds. Next up on the card, we have the ladies going after it. Karol Rosa versus Ailín Pérez. I've been picking Karol Rosa all week. Now, I know the Ailín Pérez stands tall. I mean, the Ailín Pérez simps are all over the place. A lot of people going for Ailín Pérez. And I swear to God that a lot of you guys are blindsided by her butt cheeks, bro. She's got good grappling. She's strong. She's in shape. She's a decent fighter. But Karol Rosa is a Brazilian savage who's been fighting elite talent every time. And Ailín Pérez is going to take her down and just strangle her and just beat the shit out of her. I know a lot of people are loving the Ailín Pérez dog side. I don't. I think that Karol Rosa has worked hard to get to the level that she's at now and has fought tooth and nail with some of the better girls in the world. Ailín Pérez got a win over who? Zalenzniakova, who's got no grappling? She was on her back against Jocelyn Edwards. She lost the third round to Lucy Pudilova. Okay, she beat Ashley Evans-Smith, who was from like the last era of women's MMA. Then she got that quick sub loss to Egger 2.5 years ago. She's improved. Ailín Pérez has definitely gotten better. But she hasn't been fighting high-level opposition. And Karol Rosa has been doing the opposite. I mean, look at the last 5, right? Lena Landsberg is kind of mad, but that's 2 years ago. Norma Dumont lost. That's still a high-level fight. Yana Santos win, high-level fight. Aldana win, or rather Aldana lost. I wish it was a win. I said that like 3 times this week talking about this. It was a win for me because I thought she showed improvements. Then she beat up Pani Kianzad. I think Karol Rosa can win this fight. I believe in Karol. I like her style. I love her calf kicks. I love her boxing. I think her takedown defense is pretty good in this fight. I feel like Perez, tad bit overrated. She gets called the female Khabib. I disagree. She's good, crafty, but she's fighting somebody in that legit top 10 level, and she has not been fighting any girls near that legit top 10 level, and I just don't think she'll be ready for the showcase matchup. Now, there's Ailín Pérez. Sorry, guys. I don't have the backside picture that you all wanted to see. I'll look for it. Is there any more? Nope. They don't got it turned around. Listen, Pérez looks great. Pérez looks great. Nobody's going to argue that. All right? Pérez looks in good shape, too. She's strong, thick, good muscularity. She even got some biceps on her. Pérez is in shape. She's going to put it all on the line. But listen, this is not a contest of attractiveness. It's a contest of who's got the better skills. Karol Rosa, calm, cool, collected killer. Okay? I think she's a savage Brazilian. I think she's a Brazilian savage. Butch Brazilian savage. I guess she's not too butch. A little bit, mildly. She's a gangster, bro. And I think that Karol Rosa, punch combinations, calf kicks, rhythm and movement, you got to back the Brazilian Les in this one. It's the right side of history, bro. She's going to touch up Ailín Pérez. I think so. Now, let's see what the face-off has in store. Let's find out what we're looking at. Okay. Bam. There's the face-off. Love the outfit from Ailín Pérez. Respect. Intense face-off. I said this on stream. It's like Karol Rosa looking like Harry Potter or something like that with those glasses. I'm going with Karol Rosa to win this thing. I see her pulling through. Competitive fashion, though. Pérez is strong. She'll try and wrestle. Rosa will be better with the hands. She'll be smoother on the feet. She'll pick her shots well, and Rosa should take home a decision against a dangerous Ailín Pérez, a good grappler, but not ready for this level. And that's why she's minus 240. And the odds have gone crazy. It was minus 170 earlier. Now, all the way at minus 240. Pérez is plus 205, is a pretty large underdog. And then looking towards the side, over makes a lot of sense at minus 500. And then Rosa to win via decision is my official prediction. Sits at minus 135. So Rosa decision. Rosa, I should say it right. I should say it like the Brazilians. Rosa by decision. I think that's the right side. She should touch up Ailín Pérez, some multi-shot combos, win a hard-fought decision against Tough Girl. Host of the dub. Host of the dub. Let's find out. I think she's got the skills, and I think she's gone tooth and nail and kind of through the meat grinder of female savages. Next up, we got Grant Dawson versus Diego Ferreira. I've been picking Grant. No, I've been picking Diego Ferreira. Almost said I've been picking Grant Dawson. I'd be lying to you. Listen, I've been picking the underdog. I've been picking Diego Ferreira. That was a pure fumble of words. Listen, 1, 2, 3, knocks on wood. Any superstition, it's gone now. I'll even pop a Zin in for this one, so shout out to the Zins. I think Diego Ferreira has a chance, and I know some of you are like, what are you talking about? I can already see it. I already know some of your reactions, bro. I can see you guys through the screen. Like, I can envision you watching and reacting like that if you didn't know the pick already. Let me elaborate. Diego Ferreira has always been a good anti-wrestler. He's got high-level get-up game, right? His jiu-jitsu get-up game is legit. Legit. His boxing's not bad. He's got good straight punches. He's got very good cardio, and he's got a lot of heart. Now, I know he, popped out a rib against Gamrot and tapped out in that fight. But to be fair, rib popping out, it's not like he got, dropped with a punch and just tapped out the strikes. I think it's a little more forgivable because it was an injury that happened in the fight. Gamrot didn't just run him over the whole time. I mean, Ferreira was somewhat in the fight. He'd get up from Gamrot's attempts. Diego Ferreira's got the get-up game. He's got a tooth-and-nail war with Mateusz Rebecki, which he turned out on the right side of after getting dropped badly in the first round. Unless Grant Dawson can take Diego down and pretty much neutralize him, like keep him down or at least keep him against the cage, from the center of the octagon, right, as we get into boxing range, Grant Dawson is actually at a pretty legit disadvantage. He's not a good boxer at all. Grant Dawson's striking, I would rate it probably C tier, maybe C minus. He really isn't a striker. He's athletic enough to use striking to engage in grappling, but he wants fights on the ground. He wants to throw ground and pound. He wants to control from top position and wear people down. Diego Ferreira, get-up game is on point, and Grant Dawson's chin has a massive question mark around it. Grant Dawson got starched by a straight punch by Bobby Green. It wasn't like a thudding shot. It was just on the chin, and he went flat out. He's been TKO'd on the regional scene with elbows against the cage. I do think he has very questionable durability, and I feel as though Diego Ferreira landing one good shot could be enough to drop Dawson, potentially put him away. I'm going with Diego Ferreira because he's proven tough, and I think he can find a way to win against a pretty exciting up-and-coming guy who's 10 years younger than him, too. 10 years younger is a big thing, but I don't know. Diego Ferreira's turning 40 on fight night. I think he'll be all right. 40 on fight night is better than 40 way before fight night. There's Grant Dawson. He looks in great shape. He does have that killer look in his eye. Grant High T Dawson with the fade. Respect to the hairline. I do have respect for the lineup that he got. It looks pretty smooth. All right. All right. And then we got Carlos Diego Ferreira, who had a torturous weight cut. They had to bring the box out. It didn't look great. Now, to be fair, you'll see in a moment when I bring up the face-offs that Diego Ferreira seems to have some life back inside of him as they faced off. But he had trouble cutting weight, and I don't even think this picture fully does it justice because he looked very, very, very drained. But he filled in nicely. He looked pretty normal here. Seems like he snapped back into it, maybe a little tired from the hard weight cut. The worry is Grant Dawson's chin. The other worry is how much does Diego Ferreira have left in the tank? The pick is Diego Ferreira, but I recognize that there's a real possibility that he cannot deal with Grant Dawson's pace, and at 40 years old, he could potentially crumble. But another weird thing that comes up with this fight is the fact that it's taking place on none other than the birthday of Diego Ferreira. So is he going to just lay down and quit on his birthday if he has some struggling spots? I don't think so. One thing about Diego Ferreira, he's pretty much never been a real quitter. He's always shown heart in his fights, and I expect him to show heart again here. And I think he's live for an upset surprise against Grant Dawson. Do I think it's the lock of the year? No. Do I think it's a possibility? Yes. Plus 200 for Diego Ferreira. Dawson at minus 236. Let's see if Dawson can put the wrestling pace on him. If Diego can't stop the takedowns, if Diego's on his back and he's uncomfortable consistently, then he's going to be in a lot of trouble. But if he can find his way up to the feet, then he can start throwing some big punches and he walks forward with confidence and Grant gets caught up on the feet, Grant could get caught. Ferreira by KO plus 700. Wow. Ferreira by KO plus 700. I think Ferreira can find a way to pull through, and I think he's going to give Grant Dawson a tougher fight than a lot of people are probably imagining. Historically, Diego Ferreira very slept on, even by myself. I've done it before, but normally is a true warrior, and I think that he's got at least one or two bangers left in him, and he might be live to mess Dawson up. Dawson's chin is a huge question mark. Even, you know, some fights back where Ricky Glenn, he gassed out in round 3. I know he's still developing then. He's gotten better. It doesn't mean he's not the same guy. Give me Ferreira for the upset. Next fight on the card, we have Bogdan Guskov versus Billy Elekana. Now, this is a short notice replacement fight. It was initially supposed to be Walker versus Guskov. What a letdown. I cried about it earlier in the week. I'll get over it now. I can't complain still on a Friday. I'm going to pick Bogdan Guskov. He should probably get a knockout. His hands are good. He's accurate with his boxing. He's pretty quick, legit power, good kicking game, pretty versatile on the feet. I would say his biggest question mark is his grappling, but I don't know. Ryan Spann had some good moments against him in the first round, but then he completely fell apart when he couldn't find the finish. And he also then, struggled on the ground with Volkan Oezdemir. But Billy Elekana has not fought anybody near that level. He was doing the PFL Challenger Series, but didn't even get picked up there. Now he's stepping in on real short notice against Bogdan Guskov. He's a Samoan savage. He actually trains with Karol Seyumanatafa, who's like a notable journeyman. I just feel as though it should be Bogdan all day. Like, I'm looking at Guskov as somebody attempting to make a run towards the top, whereas I feel like Billy Elekana at best should be debuting against somebody like, I don't know, Brenderson Ribeiro, even Machado, who Ribeiro beat, stuff like that. I don't think he's the level of Bogdan Guskov. I just see a skill set level difference, and I see a power level difference, and I think Guskov levels Billy Elekana. We'll find out just how good those Samoan chins hold up, man. Historically, Samoan chins have held up great. You can see the picture of Elekana here. He looks kind of on the skinnier side. I'll shrink myself a little more because he has previously fought at 185 pounds. Actually, an upset loss he had to Daniel Compton on the regional scene. It took place at 185. He looks like an 85er, like a tall 85er who's choosing not to cut the weight because he doesn't really have much muscle. He doesn't have much mass on him. If you're picking a big Samoan underdog, I feel like you'd want one that has a little more meat on his frame. Bogdan Guskov, good athletic, strong build, but still some good muscularity and the obviously thicker individual. Let's check out the face-offs between these two. Let's look at them going face-to-face. Standing there, I mean, to be fair, Elekana, he's got like a small frame, torso and shoulders wise, but as far as his actual like muscularity side by side, he doesn't look that small. What's interesting is Bogdan Guskov did not look him in the eyes at all. Anthony Smith, I mean, Bogdan Guskov, he looks so much like Anthony Smith. It's crazy. Did not look him in the eyes. He pulled an old Fedor Emelianenko where he just looks down the whole time. I actually respected it. I'm going with Bogdan Guskov. I think he beats Elekana. I don't see Elekana ready for the level of striking that he's going to be faced off against. And I see Bogdan as the guy who was going to dust Johnny Walker. And now this is a substantial step down. Minus 410 for Bogdan Guskov with Billy Elekana sitting at plus 310 as a pretty damn wide underdog. Pretty damn wide. But he should be this wide of a dog. He should. He definitely should. Under 2.5, minus 275, probably. I like Bogdan Guskov's accuracy, but KO sucks, minus 150. Guskov, unfortunately, he's put in a territory where it's essentially money line only in a parlay. You really can't just throw it straight down. KO is not that exciting either. I mean, maybe you bet the KO, but what if he just beats the shit out of Elekana for 3 rounds? And the chin of Elekana is as good as the Samoans, but the skills are not there, and Guskov just kind of runs circles around them. I could see that too. Nonetheless, pick all day Bogdan Guskov. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, we have Reese versus Azamat Bekoev. So when this fight initially dropped, I favored towards Reese, but doing a little more digging on Azamat Bekoev, I have too much worry of his takedown ability. Now, Reese is a good athlete. He's long. He's got decent punching power in his hands, but Bekoev is a guy who was doing well in LFA, has a lot of experience. He's got solid wrestling. Reese is still a big question mark for me. I really don't know his level. He beat Eliaranov, who was not that good on Contender Series. He got slammed by Cody Brundage in the first round. He knocked out Julian Marquez's corpse in 20 seconds with a good punch. And then he beat Jose Medina by a decision, but kind of looked clunky in certain moments. And I guess it led me to having questions around his skill set. Whereas on the opposite side, I got a dangerous Russian. I got a good Russian with hard-nosed wrestling pressure who's got decent striking, a little stiff and slow on the feet, but relatively sound defensively for the most part. He's been stung a few times. He likes to rip the body and shoot overhand punches. Reese, kind of a skinnier guy. I question the chin. I don't know how it's going to be. This is like the wild card fight of the night, and I'm going to favor more experience. I'm going to favor the Russian. I'm going for the Russian fighter, man. I got to go with the EV. When in doubt, you EV it out, man. I'm going to go Azamat Bekoev to win, and I feel as though he's live to use his wrestling and get a grind-heavy decision, but he might end up getting a knockout. He does have underrated power. What's interesting here is the scales were everything to me, right? I was like, all right, I can make picks all day beforehand, but until I see what Azamat looks like, I don't know for sure, right? And Reese, you knew he was going to come in shape. Now, he decided to shave his head, which is not a great look for him. He essentially looks like, I don't know, a skinnier MMA guru, to be honest with you. That's an interesting look he's got going. And then on the opposite side, we got to find our guy. Where's he at? There he is. Look at this psychopath. Look at this crazy guy. He was so excited to make the weight. He looks shredded and jacked. He just has that crazy energy, and he seemed really confident too. I like the energy I got from Bekoev as well. And honestly, even though Reese is tall, it doesn't seem like there's too much of a size difference. I don't know. Bekoev gives me a good aura, a good vibe. He gives me the kind of too tough for his own good type vibe, whereas I can see Reese getting broken. So Bekoev is going to be the call. I think that he wins the fight, but I want to make this known. You are playing with fire, betting a debuting guy on short notice who has relatively good upside, but is unproven at a high level. Minus 190, Bekoev with Reese in the plus 160s. Looking at anything else, I mean, over 1.5 is probable at minus 180. But again, this is not really a great fight to throw down on an over or trying to find a prop. I think Bekoev can win. I see the chance of an inside distance finish. Plus 145, the KO plus 275. I feel like Bekoev definitely has the grit and toughness. And I also think that he has decent wrestling to match. And Reese, I could see him taken down. I could see him uncomfortable on his back. Now, physically, he's got exciting stats. 6'4", 77-inch reach. I don't think Bekoev's actually 5'11". I mean, looking at the face-off, you guys tell me, does he look 5'11"? He looks a good 6'1". There's not that much of a height difference between the two, about 3 inches. And his arms don't look that much shorter either. I know he's got the shorter reach on paper, but in actuality, is Reese this great boxer from the outside? Is he just going to keep Bekoev off of him the whole time? I have my doubts. So the pick is going to be Bekoev. I say he finds a way to win. When in doubt, Russian fighter it out. Let's keep on running. Let's jump to our featured prelim of the night. Payton Talbott versus Raoni Barcelos. Okay. The pick has got to be Payton Talbott. It's not so much about how, or rather, it's not so much about if, it's about how. How does he get it done? I can see a slick straight shot landing on the chin for him. I can see a counter shot KO. I look at Barcelos as a strong and crafty veteran, but he's in an obvious mismatch of a matchup where he's completely the opponent. He hasn't looked that good as of late against Quinones. It was okay. He got a sub. Badly starched by Umar Nurmagomedov, beaten up by Kyler Phillips. I mean, he's a tough Brazilian. He's been on the roster a long time, but he's definitely out of his prime, and he's been exposed a good amount of times. Like Victor Henry started it off, and the hype train just kind of dwindled down since then. I guess Timur Valiev, but more so the Victor Henry fight really was like, oh shit, maybe Barcelos is not as good as people thought. At one point, he was getting compared to Jose Aldo. Whereas Payton Talbott, he has the timing and reflexes of like a McGregor-esque stand-up or like an O'Malley-esque stand-up. He's a talented fighter, and I'm going to go with the talent. I think Payton Talbott finds the chin of Raoni Barcelos. I think he catches him with something nice on the feet and probably flattens him in the first 2 rounds. I'm going knockout win. I'm going to believe Talbott's power is as effective as we've seen evidence-wise, but also as advertised. Now, to be fair, Payton Talbott, he lost a bit of aura since cutting his hair. I hope he's growing it back, bro. We need long hair gang Payton Talbott, bro. It's the look, man. It ups the aura. He needs higher aura. He lost it, but he looks kind of like, I don't know, Jordan Levitt's second cousin or something like that there. And then on the other side, where's our boy? Where's the OG? Where's the crazy Brazilian? To be honest, Raoni Barcelos, he looks like your uncle, dog. Your uncle at the barbecue, he still works out. He's still in shape. And you know he's still got that dog in him. But come on now. He's not going to beat Payton Talbott. That's a fever dream. That's a pipe dream. That's a delusion. That is an extremely low likelihood outcome. Talbott should find the chin. Talbott looks so relaxed, too. Like, he didn't even care where Barcelos is talking some shit. I just get the vibe Talbott's going to starch him. Payton Talbott by KO. He'll find the counter shot. I see it happening, man. I don't think Barcelos has got what it takes for this young kid. He doesn't have the speed. He's too slow now. Talbott minus 1,100. So, you know, the money line is uneventful, uninteresting, not probable. Plus 725 for Barcelos on the other side. You can dig a little deeper. How do we want to go? Talbott by KO minus 175. I mean, yes. Talbott by KO in round number 2 is plus 350. KO in 1 is plus 275. I feel like first or second round is relatively high likelihood. I do think Talbott gets the KO. He's going to find that chin. It'll open up, man. Barcelos will probably look to engage in wrestling. I think Talbott defends. I think you see such an obvious difference in strike speed. And I think Talbott KO in the first 2 rounds is extremely likely. I see him finishing Barcelos. And I think the hype train continues to grow on the young Payton Talbott. But grow the damn hair back, Payton, please. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. It brings us to our main card opener. If you guys haven't, make sure you all smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe to the channel. If you really enjoy it, turn on the post notifications. You don't want to miss a video or a live stream because there's a lot of content. Kevin Holland and Reinier de Ridder to start it off. So I've been picking Kevin Holland all week long. I didn't like him crashing out on Rampage, though. I thought that was strange, man. He looked like, I don't know, a bit of a D-bag with Rampage. He was like getting mad about Rampage, something with guns on the Jackson podcast. Kevin Holland's a feisty guy, but the fight should still go his way. I'm not picking against him because he had a meltdown on Rampage's pod. At the end of the day, Holland is pretty elusive with his boxing and has snappy shots. He's got legit KO power in his hands, and he hits the target pretty well, pretty clean. He's effective as hell on the feet with like a real boxing ability where Reinier de Ridder is like incredibly flawed in his stand-up. He's pretty terrible at striking. He has this awkward habit of like forcing single collars in the clinch and like closing the gap weirdly. And that leaves a lot of opportunities for Kevin Holland to catch him with fast shots over the top. Obviously on the ground, de Ridder with his takedowns and his offensive grappling could be a threat because let's be honest, Kevin Holland sometimes is just lazy. He's got good jiu-jitsu, but he don't really like wrestling. Holland himself, he said at the damn press conference, he said, can we wait like to the 3-minute mark to shoot a takedown? And I mean, sincerely, he probably doesn't want to have to fend off takedowns, but de Ridder is certainly going to look to shoot, going to look to drag him to the floor. I got to go UFC veteran experience. I got to go Kevin Holland's hands. I think de Ridder's flawed. He's got a good submission game, but too worrisome for me to stand up here and pick, man. I think Kevin Holland's boxing is still smooth, and I don't think he should be the underdog either. Let's see. Kevin Holland. I mean, he looked decent on the scale. Not as ripped as we've ever seen Kevin Holland, but to be fair, this fight takes place at 185. He's been fighting at 170. I mean, I guess the past couple have been at 85. Very forgivable loss against Delidze last time. On the opposite side, like the Ritter went tooth and nail with Gerald Mearshart, which is fine. Mearshart's got good grappling, but it was the fact that he was kind of getting tuned up on the feet. He did not look good striking. He was uncomfortable striking. Looks in relatively decent shape. I don't know. He has a very gym coach type physique. You'll see in the side-by-side a little more of what I'm saying. Opening up the main card, we got Coach the Ritter. He looks like a gym coach, a swim coach, or a damn accountant. And he's taking on Kevin Holland, the problem child out here. I think Kevin Holland can catch him. The Ritter's striking is clunky. Yes, on the ground, the Ritter is good. We know he's got skills in grappling. But as far as his stand-up game, very flawed. And I don't think Holland is as awful on the ground as normally he's given, trouble for. I think that he'll be okay. Now, as far as the odds for the fight, Kevin Holland sitting at plus 107. So Holland is the underdog this week. Underdog Holland, minus 125 the Ritter. Now, a lot of people are like, yo, Holland just fights for money. Yeah, and if he loses to the Ritter, that next contract is going to be for less money. So if he wants to stay on that contender contract, he better have trained hard for this fight. Holland via KO. What is that line? Plus 225. I think Kevin Holland finds a way to win. I think it's a decent enough money line, maybe a parlay piece. I think Holland can find the W. Holland's hands are dangerous. He's got pop. He's slick on the feet, good counter shots, good hooks, especially on the inside. The Ritter, clunky as hell in the striking. But yes, he's good on the ground, but he's also not a high caliber wrestler, though. So I think Kevin Holland's going to be okay. I'm going to pick Holland to win by knockout and expose Reinier the Ritter. Next fight on the card, we have Jailton Almeida versus Serghei Spivak. Ooh. So the pick has been Jailton Almeida all week. I'm going with the Brazilian grappler over the tough Moldovan wrestler. I like Serghei Spivak, and I tend to pick him a fair amount, but against Jailton Almeida, I got to go with the way craftier jiu-jitsu game, the better athlete. And if they go to the ground, I think Spivak is pretty fucked off of his back, whereas Jailton Almeida, his jiu-jitsu solid. He doesn't have an awful bottom game either, whereas Spivak, essentially non-existent as far as his bottom game. I mean, granted, to be fair, I guess I'm wrong. No, he locked up Tibura in a nice armbar, but Marcin Tibura leaves his arms out there. Marcin Tibura does something that Jailton Almeida would never do. I can't see Jailton getting locked in a Serghei Spivak armbar. I feel like I'd be living in some fever dream if that happened, some delusional lie. Quick sub of Romanov. He did look bad against Curtis Blades, trying to panic wrestle and then getting TKO'd against the cage. Rather, while he had Blades against the cage, but dominated Lewis. Granted, more impressive win over Lewis for Spivak. But nonetheless, I think Jailton Almeida is just simply the better athlete. He's quicker with his grappling speed, his transition speed, his submission threats. All of the facets of the game that Jailton Almeida has, I think he just does more fine-tuned and efficiently than a Serghei Spivak. So the pick has got to be Jailton Almeida for me. I see him taking it home. We're going Team Almeida for the W. You can look here. Jailton Almeida, pretty good on the scale. Came in slim at 235. He looks like he's put on some muscle and lost some body fat. This is actually a great physique for him here. One of the better weigh-ins. He seems very serious about making a heavyweight run. And to be fair, I mean, wins this one, not that far away from a title shot with what's going on at the top. Maybe Aspinall Jones. I mean, hopefully that fight happens. But, okay, outside of Aspinall Jones, a win here for Jailton. He's in the contender conversation. There's the polar bear, Serghei Spivak, weighing in. Looked okay. Looked okay. Looked all right. It looked like Spivak normally does. It's a little thicker around the midsection than Jailton, but as far as muscularity, Jailton matches up with him well. And I think Jailton is going to be the better athlete, the better grappler. Even in striking, I've said this all week, I think Jailton Almeida could outbox Serghei Spivak. If they're just kickboxing, I would favor Jailton Almeida to win too. So the call is going to be Jailton. I think he beats Sloth from the Goonies, man. I just think that's how it plays out. Now, as far as the odds, he's minus 425 as a crazy wide favorite with Spivak at plus 325. Odds are what they are, man. At the end of the day, I see the fight going Jailton's way. Submission win for Jailton. I do think he takes the back of Spivak and subs him at about plus 135. I think that's relatively likely. He is a little bit of an inflated money line, but I just see him as better. Like, if he's on his back, he's okay. Whereas I know if Spivak's on his back, he's in a really compromised position. And it's not like Spivak brings much of a wrestling threat. You can trash Jailton Almeida all day for his loss against Curtis Blades. But let's be real. Curtis Blades, at the very least, has shown knockout power. What power has Spivak ever shown striking? Zilch. Zero. None. Jailton Almeida wins. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. Featured fight of the night. Jiří Procházka versus Jamal Hill. I've been picking Jiří Procházka to catch Jamal Hill with a knockout shot over the top all week. I think Hill is going to struggle with the Procházka pressure, right? Jamal Hill being forced on his back foot. I question how it looks. He throws decent straight shots, a lot of the times from the shoulders, and that leaves vulnerabilities to shots over the top from Jiří Procházka. I see Procházka hunting him down and landing some clean ones, and I see Jiří Procházka chinning Jamal Hill. I think it'll be a pretty badass fight. Hill's slick from the outside, and I mean, prior to the loss against Ferreira, you got to respect what was done. He beat the hell out of Glover Teixeira, but he also had a devastating Achilles injury, so who knows how his mobility is going to look in this fight. He hasn't had a lot of time in the cage since the injury. Procházka, he's just got that insane pressure. He doesn't stop with forward pressure. He's not going to back away just because you touch him. Unless you drop him, he's going to consistently come forward. Now, he himself has said that he's going to be adding in some more blocking. I'll believe it when I see it, because Procházka, he uses his chin to block shots, not his hands or his, forearms. But I'm going to keep my faith in Procházka. I'm not going to write him off because losses to Payton. Win against Rakic was impressive. He had to overcome a decent kickboxing display early from Rakic on the outside. But I ultimately feel as though in this fight here, Hill, it could be similar to the Rakic situation where early Hill's finding his range. But as Procházka consistently presses forward, he eventually overwhelms Hill and lands a good shot over the top that could lay him out, or at least stun him, and then the knockout could commence there afterwards. So the pick is Jiří Procházka. But we got to see the scales. Now, Procházka, he's a gem of a guy. A big fan of his actually has cancer, and he shaved his head in honor of her, and he's donating like $50,000 to her charity, or to oncology patients. I don't know if it's a specific charity, but Dana matched it. So respect to both of them. Procházka, he definitely had aura. He had even more aura at the ceremonials, but he looks in physical condition A tier. Looks very dialed in. You see the fire in his eyes. Like, Procházka knows right now if he wants to ever be in the conversation again, he better bring it. But to be fair, same with Jamal Hill, who looks in relatively good shape too. You can see some top abs there for Jamal Hill. I like this fight a lot, man. I see Procházka with that psychotic pressure being enough to give Hill a lot of trouble. I think Hill is slick. I think he's got good counter shots, and I think this is a crazy fight. Procházka, very hittable, but I feel as though Procházka could land over the top of Jamal Hill, and as slick as Hill can be, he will be substantially less effective going backwards. Procházka needs to make Hill go backwards, because Hill going forward, very dangerous. Hill going forward, very precise. Hill going forward, live for a KO. But going backwards, he gets caught. He throws with his chin up high a lot of the time. It's effective on the offensive, but on a more compromised spot, being pushed back on the defensive, Procházka can get more into that close range, that red zone. I think Procházka can land some death-defying shots on the feet, man. Both guys look in good shape, though. Respect to Hill coming in with some abs, man. Odds for the fight, Procházka at plus 105, Jamal Hill at minus 125. Close odds here, but Jiří the underdog. No even Stevens lines here. Jiří the dog money. Procházka by KO plus 200. Over 1.5 minus 165. Don't you guys all have a weird hunch that it goes over 1.5? I could see it. But with both of these heavy-handed light heavyweights, it's only one shot that can literally change everything in the fight. So if you are playing the over 1.5, expect to sweat your ass off because that's what's imminent if you do. But I'm going to say Prochazka backs Hill up, catches him with a shot over the top. He'll look slick with his boxing and has some moments here, but Prochazka's insane pressure ultimately gets to Jamal Hill, and I'm saying Prochazka pulls the W off in gritty fashion in a good back and forth war. Very excited for this fight. It's a great matchup here, man. Really great matchup. High level light heavyweight fight. Prochazka for the W is the pick from me, but I recognize the level, and it's going to be great. For a while, this is my most anticipated fight of the card. I think now so, maybe not, because there's some other bangers. But overall, this fight right here, savage light heavyweight matchup. Next fight on the card, co-main event. We have the bantamweight belt on the line. We got defending champ Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Let's see what happens between these two. Let's find out what goes down between these two. So we're in a very interesting situation, right? Merab has this amazing resume, but I've been picking Umar Nurmagomedov to win all week. He's a Nurmagomedov. He's got a ton of experience through the combat sambo circuit, training with Team Habib. He sees high-level looks every single day. Nurmagomedov is crafty from the outside. He has very good mobility as well, and he's quick. Takedown defense, not a worry. Offensive wrestling, probably not a super effective tool in this fight because Merab Dvalishvili does have incredible wrestling. He's also got an incredibly high output and an elite level gas tank. But man, I just feel like it's Nurmagomedov's time. I see some nasty kicks from the outside. I think Merab is going to really struggle to get takedowns. And even if he catches the leg of Nurmagomedov, the balance that Umar is going to show will be impressive. I think the more slick and elusive striking will be a factor. Ultimately, Merab Dvalishvili's stand-up game looks a lot better in certain fights because of the lack of guys' takedown defense abilities, right? Like O'Malley, he could land takedowns on all night long. With Umar Nurmagomedov, I can't see him landing takedowns on Umar all night long. I think that would be extremely unlikely. I think Umar is very live to win a hard-fought decision. I think it's a competitive fight. Now, there's a chance that Umar finds the counter shot. We've seen Merab buckled a couple of times by Henry Cejudo, Marlon Moraes. He's been touched before, and if he's forced into a kickboxing fight, wouldn't be an insane possibility that Umar could be the one to put him away. But Merab's physical condition, extremely high level. I think he's tough enough to go long. And I'll say Umar takes him on a unanimous decision. That's been the official pick throughout the week. Now let's check out the scales. Let's see. What are we looking at here for these high-level savages? Okay? Let's see where they're at. We got to scroll down a little bit more. Bump, 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 bump. Benny Dariush smiling, but his fight got canceled. Sorry, Benio. There is Umar Nurmagomedov. You know what? He looks like mini Habib Islam Makhachev mix. That's the vibe I get. That's what he is. He's the bantamweight savage from Dagestan. He's a good talent. And then he's taking on the Georgian monster. Look at this. Merab looks in great shape, though. Merab's hungry and ready to go. He wants to beat Umar bad, man. He wants to beat Umar real bad. Can you fully blame him? No. Because both of them have said some testy shit to one another. It's gotten intense. It's gotten personal. It's gotten a bit of a country versus country rivalry going. And there's the face-off between the two. Now, to be fair, Merab, very physically imposing, more physically imposing than Umar Nurmagomedov. He's got the big traps and neck, right? But ultimately, I think Umar Nurmagomedov's defensive wrestling capabilities is going to be a key to victory. I feel as though he'll be able to fend off Merab's chain pressure attack. I think he can even match him in striking output. And I think he exceeds his game as far as true striking technicality. So the pick has got to be Umar Nurmagomedov to take this one home. I see him getting it done. Now, he's a minus 255 favorite, a little chalky, right? Especially for a challenger. Plus 215 for Merab Dvalishvili. Merab, brother, Merab. I love Merab, brother, but I tell you, he's not going to win this one. I don't think so. I just think Umar's too clean, too crafty, too primed. Too clean, too crafty, too primed, in a difficult matchup for Merab. Nurmagomedov by decision sitting at minus 125. What's the KO line? KO sitting at plus 800. Holy hell. Plus 800 is wild, man. That's insane. Plus 800. Wow. Wide as hell. But honestly, I see Umar Nurmagomedov's chances of a knockout like 2 out of 10. So it makes sense, plus 800. But it's a legit 2 out of 10 chance. Like there's a possibility that he catches Merab with a really big shot, rocks him, puts him down with a bit of ground and pound. Like just because Umar's known for winning these decisions, he still has the ability to generate enough force for a counter shot KO. And I could see it landing here, especially with the way Merab is so used to having such a wrestling edge that he typically has more options in striking because of just an imminent fear of what could be with his takedown threats. You get what I'm saying? Not in this fight, though. So Umar Nurmagomedov is going to be the pick. I'm going Umar. Let's keep running. Let's jump to our main event of the evening. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe it up. This is going to be crazy. We got Islam Makhachev versus Renato Money Moicano. Is this real life, man? I'm pinching myself. The pick is Islam Makhachev for sure. It has to be. I love Money Moicano, but he doesn't have any advantages over Islam. The only way I see him winning is a strange conspiracy theory, actually. Do you guys remember at the press conference, the Armenian reporter or Dagestan reporter asking Islam about an injury he had going into this fight? And did you see the strange emotion that he put out? He seemed like he got a little stiff and injury. What did you hear that? No, I don't have anything. I'm good. I look great, right? Not saying that it's a certainty, not saying it's true, but just, one weird thought that I had is like, can you imagine some strange world where Islam taking this fight on short notice, not short notice, taking this fight injured, and then Moicano taking it on short notice, somehow pulls off some wild Rocky story? Yeah, it's a fever dream. It's a pipe dream. It's not true. The pick is Islam Makhachev confidently. He's probably going to beat the shit out of Renato Moicano. But a man can dream, okay? Because Moicano is attempting the real-life Rocky story. And personally, I love this. Stepping up for the biggest opportunity ever. This is a life-changing fight for Moicano. Doesn't matter if he wins. He took the fight. He put himself in a great position now. He said, yes, I will fight. And he's fighting a savage in Islam Makhachev. And he's literally got no advantages. Islam is more dangerous in striking, better at boxing, better at kicking, snapping body kicks, dangerous high kicks, good counter hooks, better at wrestling. Sure, maybe Money Moicano has better pure jiu-jitsu, but MMA jiu-jitsu? Doubtful. Islam Makhachev should be able to beat up, probably wear down, and then eventually finish off Renato Moicano. I'm seeing possibility of second, third round. I do think Money Moicano is going to give a decent account for himself. He's going to put it all on the line. I think he's getting beaten up. I think he's taking some big shots. I think he could potentially get submitted in this fight here. It could be like the Oliveira situation, counter shot KO sub. I think ultimately Moicano is a badass for taking the chance of a lifetime, but I'm hard pressed to find him having any advantage over Islam Makhachev other than probably trash talk ability. Outside of that, I don't think so. Maybe a little crazier than Islam. And Islam's pretty nuts, but I think Moicano's a different level of crazy. I like Money Moicano. He's got a reach advantage. I guess that's an advantage, right? He's got 1.5 inches in reach. But the chances of him catching Makhachev with a punch and putting him down, really low. Counter submission, maybe, but Makhachev's going to have to make a massive mistake. Or Islam Makhachev has to be fighting injured in this fight, which is pure speculation. There's like no evidence whatsoever of that. Zero. The pick is Islam Makhachev inside of the distance. He finishes Money Moicano, beats him up, does some damage on the feet. Probably wears him down. Maybe a ground and pound, or maybe he ends up locking Moicano in a submission. But I could definitely see ground and pound if Moicano's like stubborn and doesn't allow for opportunities for Makhachev to sub him. Because Moicano's got good submission defense, high-level jiu-jitsu. It'd be crazy if Money Moicano went the distance. If Money goes the distance, that's the real-life Rocky. If he goes distance. Do I think he does, though? I lean towards the no side strongly. If Moicano was to win, I believe this would be the biggest upset in UFC history. Bigger than GSP Sarah. Definitely bigger even than Holly Holm and Ronda Rousey. This would like eclipse all of them. This would be monumental for the sport. This would be mind-boggling. Number 10 guy in the world on short notice to beat pound for pound number 1. Sounds so perfect. Sounds like the script of a movie. Doesn't sound like real life, because Islam Makhachev is amazing and he will win the fight. So the pick is Islam. The pick is Islam. Come on. You guys already knew that. I love Money Moicano. I will always be a fan. And if somehow he pulled off the win, wow, I'll shout him out. I'll give him a ton of praise. But to make that as a legit prediction, that just seems irresponsible and it seems naive. It just doesn't seem likely. It would be a shocking upset that probably happens one time out of 100. There's Islam Makhachev. He looks in great shape. He looks dialed in. He had that killer instinct look in his eye. And let's get Money Moicano. There's Moicano. Moicano's excited. This is before he even knew he was getting the title fight, and he was excited. He looks solid on the scale. He's in shape. I think this is the best version of Moicano ever. This could potentially be like the final fight of primed Moicano. The odds of him ever climbing his way to a title shot seemed almost impossible. He would have had to beat Beneil Dariush and then who? Gaethje or Poirier or maybe a Dan Hooker coming off a win over Gaethje, a Max Holloway. The odds of him fighting for the belt, especially in a reasonable timeline while he was still prime, just seemed extremely low. The short notice opportunity could not have happened at a better time, to be fair, though. He was preparing for a southpaw in Beneil Dariush and a wrestler in Beneil Dariush. About as good of a training camp you can get, not specifically for Islam Makhachev, but that may, at least in some facets, transfer over to Islam. Still think it's extremely low chance that he wins, but I want to mention something. This could be delusion, but look at this face-off. Does Money Moicano not win the aura battle at this face-off? Like prediction-wise, what we see on paper, right? What we see in tape, it's Makhachev. But just off the face-off, doesn't it seem like Money Moicano has a glow to him? Am I crazy for thinking that? So I'm not flipping the pick. I'm not picking Moicano. But if you're on the gambling side of things and you want to be a D-Gen, Moicano inside distance almost seems too good to pass up. Look at that aura. Money Moicano submits Islam Makhachev. Crazy upset. It's a face-off, though. Like, yeah, he looks like a badass. Makhachev, he's a dangerous man, though. He's a cold-blooded killer. And just because Moicano somehow won the battle of the face-off, the body language battle, too, it's not like Makhachev was, like, uncomfortably turtled over. It's just Moicano seems like the guy. Could also be the inherent bias that we have of this new fight and Moicano having a glow about him because he's fighting for the world title on short notice. He's a plus 900 underdog with Makhachev at minus 1,500. The Lock City parlay got screwed sideways. It was supposed to be Makhachev fighting Sarukian in Sopaj. Now, the odds for that, I'll check it towards the end. Absolutely shysted. We'll talk about parlays at the end, and I'll drop a new Lock City. Oh, my. Plus 900 Moicano. Okay, so even if you go Makhachev as a lock for yourself and you put him in like a 3-play parlay, 4 or 5, whatever, and you just want to hedge a little, Moicano inside distance is plus 1,000. And if Moicano wins, it's a finish. If Moicano wins, it's probably a sub. Plus 3,300 for submission. They're like tempting you to bet it. Like, yo, Rocky story. Makhachev is just better than him everywhere. The only way that he loses is if he is compromised. Other than that, This should be a destructive, dominant finish where Islam Makhachev shows why he is the pound-for-pound best fighter on planet Earth. And Moicano will get a lot of praise for stepping in. He should. But Islam Makhachev should have a lot of praise, too, for being willing to fight anybody and truly defend that championship belt and that #1 pound-for-pound ranking. If you're talking BMFs in the weight class, you might have Max Holloway at lightweight with a BMF title, but the BMF is Islam Makhachev. Without a doubt. Anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere. He's a certified gangster. Makhachev for the W. He beats Money Moicano. I love money. You love money. We all love money. But a win against Islam? It seems nearly impossible. Really, it does. Let's see what Tapology at 11% Moicano. I'm surprised it's even 11%. I'm surprised it's not more like 2%. I know Moicano's got a lot of fans, but Islam does everything to an extremely high level. Moicano's getting dropped by Jalen Turner, getting busted up by Drew Dober. Moicano is now going to go out and beat Islam. I know he did great against Benoit Saint-Denis in the first round, but BSD is nowhere near Islam level of grappling skill or even fight IQ. Moicano's got great jiu-jitsu, and if you give him an opportunity, you make a mistake in a scramble, there's a weird mistake that happens, like Moicano getting his back strangling him, something insane, catching a guillotine. But likelihood, very low. Very, very low. Islam Makhachev should win and defend his throne and still champ Islam Makhachev to close out the predictions for the first pay-per-view of 2025. I'm a fan of both guys, but I can't help and be like, yo, if Money wins, this would be amazing. The reaction will be crazy on the live stream if there was that level of upset. But Makhachev is better. So we're just talking what ifs, man. Your favorite fighters, they ain't always going to be world champions. Even though Makhachev's up there as far as fighters I like a lot too. It's just Money Moicano's got the unmatched aura, the chance of a lifetime. Put up or shut up now. He says he can't afford to lose. He still swears by it. Forever, financially, his life is changed, win or lose. So ultimately, for Money Moicano, regardless of what the result is at the end of this fight, it's a W for me. I think it's a W for life for him. Unfortunately, he's going to have to take a little bit of a beating from Islam Makhachev. Now, I do want to discuss the parlays, though. We got to talk about what happened. So, I had a pretty savage lineup, right, of all these parlays that I put together. And, you know, some of them fell apart now because we have fight cancellation. So the odds essentially shift on almost everything, which is really annoying. Islam Makhachev and Benardo Sopaj, now if you're betting it, minus 194. That was my initial Lock City parlay, and it frustrates me that I'm seeing it at minus 194. It still exists. The fighters are still on the card. What, am I going to sway from it now? I'm going to back away now, but the odds are just so disappointing, man. I like a different one, though. New parlays that I thought of to bring into the mix. Sopaj and Umar. So right now, this screen is essentially irrelevant. I'm talking. Because Sopaj and Umar at minus 120 or Ulanbekov, Umar minus 120, those are good alternates. I even like the Dagestan parlay still, which you see on the screen, the Dog parlay. It was, you know, a little bit better before at plus 131. That parlay that you see there, the Dagestan parlay. Now, unfortunately, odds have been dwindled down a bit. We're looking at minus 102. Sopaj, Umar, and Ulanbekov all together is another one you can run. I don't think the odds are necessarily horrible. I guess I can just bring this screen up here. Because, yeah, we're looking at Makhachev minus 194 with Sopaj. It's not great. Doesn't have the same ring to it. There's other ones that are good. Like, if you go with Umar Nurmagomedov on your lineup, Sopaj and Makhachev, now you're getting plus money. If you don't like Sopaj, you're like, no, and you don't even want Makhachev, you can go balls on this one. Big balls. Yuri, I got to take a sip, man. Oh. The Zin went down heavy, man. Holy hell. Almost put me down for the count, chat. Almost put me down for the count. That was crazy. Live on air. Plus 259 for this 3-play. What I like, though, is Mr. Contrarian. If you want to be a Mr. Contrarian type, there's some magic you can cook up here. Mr. Contrarian, I know you exist. You go Money Moicano, Mr. Contrarian, you're crazy, bro. Kevin Holland, Mr. Contrarian, bro. You're losing your marbles, bro. What are you doing? And Yuri Prohashka, plus 3,793. That's like insane D-Gen odds. Insane D-Gen line. Degeneracy at its finest, really. It's super D-Gen. I'm looking at the odds I have written out here, man. I got another parlay that I wanted to drop for, Dagestan mixed with my boy Prohashka. So if you go in Dagestan, you got Ulanbekov. Obviously, you got Mak. Odds are not great, but it's what it is. And then Umar Nurmagomedov, minus 102, not bad for those three. Like I said, the dog parlay. But I wanted to add in one final little piece here. Yuri Prohashka, you get plus 316. So a lot juicier odds on that one. Unfortunately, even some of like the savage D-Gen parlays kind of fell. They shifted a bit. Makhachev, Nurmagomedov, Sopaj, Holland, the Rosa and Pérez over 2.5. Almeida, Talbott, and Bekoev together is plus 990. The D-Gen savage play, Makhachev, Nurmagomedov, Sopaj, Holland, Rosa over 2.5. Almeida, Talbott, Ulanbekov, Yuri and Hills over 1.5, sitting at plus 1492. Not horrible. There's still some good parlays to make out. Sopaj, Umar, and Ulanbekov at plus 156 calls my name. I like that a lot for some plus money. But the Lock City parlay, I guess I got to keep it the same. It's just the odds have gotten worse. So the Lock City alternate will be Ulanbekov and Umar at minus 120. If you're like, yo, I don't want to throw it out at minus 190. I need something it's close to even money or near plus. Then that's the play for you. Disappointing that things shifted, man. Crazy how things shifted. The game is crazy, but that's what makes this so fun, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's weigh-in recap show. Hopefully, Beneil Dariush gets a fight soon. I'm sure we'll see him on a fight night card in the next month or two. Make sure you guys smash the like button. If you guys are new, subscribe to the channel, and definitely let me know what you thought of the picks down in the comments. If you have nothing to say in the comments, but just enjoy the content, W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. Thank you guys for watching. Oh, and turn on the post notifications so you don't miss a video. And listen, if you don't want to miss anything, the live streams too, put them not just on personalized, put them on all, and you'll get notified about all the content that I'll be dropping. I will see you guys for the Fight Companion. We had hell of a day streaming. Popped off with the news reaction stream earlier for the new main event. So I'm very excited for 2025. And we're kicking off the pay-per-views, a nice numbered card with real-life Rocky story chance. Odds are, though, Rocky's a fairy tale. It's a great movie. I love Rocky. People tell me I look like him sometimes. But as far as that happening in real life with Moicano, be a hell of a shock. We shall find out. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all on the next one. Much love and peace out.